Welcome to this week's Future Toolbox podcast. We explore the Z to A of life skills, where each letter stands for a topic and essential tool to help you get ahead in life. Meet Jules and Mark, creators of the multi-award-winning Future Toolbox, and enjoy their straightforward approach to creating growth mindsets that help people turn their dreams into realities. Whether you're a teen in education, a parent, a teacher, or part of a community group, start creating positive habits from today.
Hello everybody and welcome to our latest Z2A podcast with myself Mark and Jules from the multi-award winning Future Toolbox.
Hi and welcome everybody.
Now this is where we pick a letter and a topic to discuss how you can use our tools to improve your own personal development and life. What's this week's letter and topic?
The letter I've chosen is M for momentum. And the reason for this is because it's that time of year, particularly if you're a student or obviously if you're a parent of students going through their exams. They really are in the epicenter of it at the moment, and keeping that momentum going to get to the finish line is what we're going to talk about today.
That's right, and exams are so stressful, but obviously momentum doesn't have to be about something that's really stressful like exams. It can be about something that's really exciting, like a goal that you're trying to achieve in life.
Yeah, and something else that I like to liken momentum to is something like, for example, if you're doing some weight training because you want to strengthen certain parts of your body, like your arms or whatever. The more times you lift that weight, the bigger the muscle gets and the stronger that you get. And that is building that momentum. And that's in everything that you do. It's that repetition, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like training, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's about creating routines and habits that are going to help you, as you just said, to achieve what it is that you're aiming for.
And we're big fans of creating positive habits at the Future Toolbox and also working towards goals. And a big theme that we always follow is it doesn't have to be that massive goal. It doesn't have to be that day where you have that big fanfare, that big celebration because you've achieved something. It's the little repetitions that you do every single day. And we've talked a lot in the past about the compound effect habits, where you do little things every day that add up to a big result.
Yeah, and we were going to talk about things that we've done over the years where we've created momentum because we wanted to achieve certain things. And we were talking about writing some of our books.
That's true, yeah, because people see a book and they'll think, fantastic, this is really great to read, but they don't realise what actually goes in behind the scenes. First of all, you need to have an idea. You then need to plan a structure and a story out. A couple of our books obviously have been our own stories, so we haven't had to plan them so much because they've sort of happened. But when we wrote Don't Get Your Neck Tattooed, for instance, that wasn't a real life story. It was based on real life learnings, but we had to put a structure together. And that structure changed quite a lot, didn't it? It took us a lot longer than we anticipated to write it because we kept changing our ideas, we kept changing our minds, we kept changing our goals. And then all of a sudden one day we sat down and said, right, we really need to get a hold on this. We really need to stick to what we're going to do now and go for it.
Yeah, because there wasn't a massive structure. There was no, like, we're going to have it done by a certain date, or we hadn't really set that goal. Being the people that we are, we'd read it and think, oh, that's really good. Oh, how about putting that in it? Or what about changing this? And off we go, and we'd run with that for a little bit. And then we'd talk to other people who would give us fantastic ideas. So that actually probably took the longest, I think, out of the books that we've done so far.
It did, without a doubt. I think one of the things that changed our mindset on that was when we talked to a publisher that was helping us, and he said to us, what is the date of your book launch? And our reply was, we don't know, whenever we've launched it. And he said, well, that's no good, because if you don't have the date of a book launch, you've got nothing to work towards. And that flicked a switch with us, didn't it? Because we thought, hold on a second, we're all about setting goals here. The goal has got to work backwards. So our goal deadline date was book launch day. We actually set a date, didn't we?
We set a date to have it all ready to the publisher. And it turned out that we weren't actually in the country. We were in Thailand, which made it even harder for us because of the, was it 7 or 8 hours time difference? So, yeah, think about things like that when you're setting deadlines on anything. But, yeah, momentum is, I guess, something, I likened it to building a muscle, but it's also like driving a car. And as you start driving it, you pick up speed. So momentum, it's like that in your daily life. It's about making that progress and getting closer to your goals. And I also think that when you start building that momentum, it makes you feel good. It gives you that sense of you're achieving what it is that you're trying to do. And you can start to see things coming together. And that gives you so much more lift. And like you say, you can see the finish line, whatever that might be, in sight. And there's ways in which you can help build that momentum, because sometimes you might be sitting there thinking, well, where do I start?
Yeah, and I like that idea, what you just said there about driving a car. Now, if you want to drive a car at 100 mile an hour, obviously that's illegal on the road, so don't do that. But let's say you did want to drive a car at 100 mile an hour. The technology of cars is so fantastic now. You can literally put your foot on the floor and speed up very quickly. But one thing you can't do is you can't go from 0 to 100 just like that. Now, if we take our life moves a lot slower. We can't build momentum as quickly as we can build the speed of a car. So for us to get from, say, 0 to 100% will be you completing your goal. It's going to take a lot longer to do that. We've always used the analogy of weight loss. People quit goals on weight loss because they don't see any difference straight away. You can replace that with anything, strength training, you can replace it with learning a language, a new skill, something along those lines. People quit because they don't build the momentum quick enough, and they think that the first few steps are completely fruitless. So I'm not going to carry on. I'm not going to keep going forward. Okay, I've been on a diet for 2 weeks. I haven't lost any weight. Therefore, I'm going to quit. But if you're on a diet for 2 months, you're going to lose weight if you're on a weight loss diet, aren't you? If you're following it properly. So that is all about the momentum. It's about building that speed up, or so to speak, building towards your goal and creating those small habits every single day and working consistently, I think is the word, isn't it?
I like the phrase keeping consistent and persistent.
Oh, yes.
So you're consistently doing things because you're persistent in achieving that goal. So stay consistent and persistent. And one of the other things is your daily habits shape your future lifestyle. I read that the other day in a personal development thing that I was reading. And it's absolutely true. So whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, create those routines, work it out what it is that you actually need to do, and start building those habits. By doing that, you start that self-discipline that we talked about a few weeks ago.
It is very true. It's very key to practice that self-discipline to stay on track and to follow those habits. And the more small steps that you make towards your goal, the more likely you are to achieve it.
Those of you that follow us know that we are trying to learn Spanish. Mark is ahead of me in this quest. And that there's a specific reason for that, is because before we moved over here to Lanzarote, we both started Duolingo, which we had been told is a great way to start learning the basics, really. So we set ourselves a goal of doing it every single day. Before we came here, I was doing it, but it wasn't sinking in. It wasn't making sense. And I'll be absolutely honest, I really wasn't enjoying it. So guess what I did?
You quit, didn't you?
I did. I quit. And I stopped. For whatever reasons, I didn't pick it up. Until recently, I thought, right, come on, I really want to do this now. I want to be able to understand better when somebody speaks to me in Spanish exactly what they're saying. And at some point be able to have a conversation with them as well and actually reply in Spanish. So I've started the Duolingo, and ridiculously, it's making sense. I'm enjoying it, and I do it every day now for at least 10 minutes. Depends how many mistakes I make, which at the moment isn't too many, which is quite good. But I think the difference is it's something that I'm really wanting to achieve right now, whereas before I felt a little bit almost like pressure to do it, and it wasn't quite the right time for me. So it is building those habits, it is getting that routine, and it is using that self-discipline of I'm going to do this every single day. So remember, your daily habits shape your future life.
And that is very true. And a lot of takeaways from what you just said there is sometimes the time isn't right and you can pick things back up again. And there's no shame in picking something up and saying, okay, I quit, I need to start again. There's also no shame in being behind somebody. So obviously I'm further ahead in my streak of learning. But the thing is, sometimes I look at my own learning and I think I've been doing this for over 2 years now and I don't feel I'm as far forward as I should be. And then somebody will say something to me in Spanish and I think, I should know that. But the thing is, if I didn't do it and I decided to quit and thought, well, it's moving along too slowly now, then if I do nothing, I'm guaranteed one result, aren't I? That's absolutely nothing's going to happen. But what I could do with my own Spanish now is I could ramp that up and think, right, okay, instead of just doing what I'm doing now for 10 minutes a day, I could go up to 20 minutes a day, or I could start a Spanish course or join a Spanish group. So it is about adjusting and moving forward to maybe the next chapter, or maybe if I'm happy doing that, then that's cool. And me and you can learn that together, and you can catch me up and we can swap notes and things like that. It is about your own goal and your own pace. And we know people who came here more than 2 years ago that learnt the language in a lot less time, and that's really dangerous to do the self-comparison thing and think, well, they're better than me.
Well, no, and we know people that have lived here for many, many years and have never even tried. So at least we're having a go. And the one thing that whatever it is that you're trying to achieve and helping you to build that momentum is keep visualising that end goal, that finish line. That will help to build your momentum and think, right, I want to do this. How am I going to do something today that's going to move me towards that end goal? Visualization is a really, really good thing to use, and being able to think about having that conversation. We are getting so much better, but for me, I feel that I'm moving in a faster way, which is what the momentum is. It builds that up and you're getting towards your goals quicker and stronger.
And let's go back to that example of the book. So when we released Don't Get Your Neck Tattooed, that sort of happened, didn't it? Because we changed it around and we got there in the end. When we released What the Hell Just Happened and also Half Man, Half Marathon, we actually set the goals more defined on that. So we set the date of launch right at the start and said, this is the date we're going to launch the book. And we visualised what that book launch would look like, where we wanted to have it, who we would invite, and what we'd actually say to people when we launched the books. Now, being honest, both of them didn't happen exactly like we said. But the thing is, we set the date in the first place and we worked towards that, and we built that momentum by writing a little bit every single day. And I think we set ourselves a goal to write 500 words a day, wasn't it?
It was. And very often we would go over that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with overachieving, is there?
No, because that is building that momentum. And when you can see that happening, it gives you that wonderful feeling of achievement. And I think one of the good things about how to start building momentum is make a list of the things that you need to do between now and that finish line, and then start planning when you're going to do those things. Often when you make that list, you can have lots of things and then you're overwhelmed because you think, right, okay, I've got to do all of these things. But using our grid on how to plan your time, you can then decide which are the most important, which needs to be done now. And we use the ICE matrix that we've created, which is from the Eisenhower method, and it really, really works. So whatever you're trying to do, you can categorise when that needs to be done by.
Yeah, planning is really key, isn't it? Planning and persistency are two major words that you can use there to help yourself move forward. So if you can plan everything, write that list. And you've mentioned about list writing. You love writing lists. They used to drive me mad. I think, what's the point in writing a list? And then I realised that the simplest analogy is when you go shopping, you generally make a list of what you want to buy from the shops.
Yeah, and then leave it at home.
Yeah. So why would you not write a list of stuff that you need to be really successful in life?
But I also think if you use something like the ICE matrix that we do, not only are you able to split up the things that you need to do into when they need to be done, that also helps you to manage your time more effectively. And that is the big thing in terms of building momentum, is managing your time and doing it effectively so that you're not wasting it and you're getting the things done that you need to do. And once you start ticking things off of, right, I've done that bit, that's that momentum building, and you can feel yourself. I'm getting all excited now. I can feel the momentum in myself building. You think, yeah, I've done this, I've done that. And we're getting so much closer now. And those people that are within that exam timetable at the moment, each day as you're going through this at the moment, you're getting closer to that end day. So keep that momentum going.
Back to our students who are studying, there will be some that are sitting there now thinking, I really regret not revising. I've done absolutely nothing. This is a disaster. I was that student many years ago. And I think it's what you do next is the key thing if you are that student. Maybe think, okay, that didn't work. Doing nothing is going to give me nothing. So what can I do next in order to build momentum towards my next goal? If you're the other end of the scale and you're the person that's written all the list, done all the revision, you'll find it really, really hard and you're struggling on it, you've done everything you can do. And then take the pressure off of yourself and just think, right, okay, I've got to give this my best shot. And then what can I do next? And it's always looking forward. It's always about learning about what those things that didn't quite work. So when we launched Don't Get Your Neck Tattooed, we didn't have a great plan. When we launched What the Hell Just Happened, we had a really, really good plan. At the end of the day, both of them were books that were both launched and both well received, but one was just a lot easier than the other one because we did something different the second time. That is where your learning can come into play to help you build the momentum for the next time that you're setting the next goal or whatever it may be.
One of the things we always talk about is celebrating the small successes. You're obviously going to celebrate the big ones, but the small steps and the whole compound effect. But don't forget to embrace the mistakes. Quite often, when it gets tough, that's when we start losing the momentum and we think, oh, that didn't go so well. And you start losing the hope that you're ever going to achieve it. And that's quite understandably normal to stumble a little bit. But it's fine to be able to say, do you know what? Okay, that didn't work. I got that bit wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe if I try this way, it will help. Talk to other people that might be in the same position as yourself in terms of your goal that you're trying to achieve. And you can get back onto your momentum quite easily if you can just maybe find somebody to help you with that progress and keep you almost like beholden to them. They're going to chase you and make sure that you're staying on track with things.
And that's something that happened to me on Duolingo. I got really, really stuck on a particular level. I couldn't get past it. I didn't understand why I couldn't get past it. Duolingo didn't explain to me why I kept making the same mistakes. So what I did is I went back a whole level and started doing some bits that I'd done before. And I built the confidence thinking, oh, I can remember this stuff. And then I went back to it and I looked it up somewhere else and thought, right, I know why I'm making a mistake now. That to me was just slightly changing my direction a little bit and thinking, great, I've made that mistake. What that did then is it made me learn the bits that I already learned before.
So if you take anything from this podcast, remember staying consistent and persistent will gain you that momentum to get you over that finish line.
Yeah, indeed. So if you'd like to gain a bit of momentum in your life, you can go over to our website to find loads of really great simple tools. It's futuretoolbox.co.uk. You can listen to back episodes of this podcast. Now, we've done over 100. If you tried to listen to all of those in one go, it would take you a very long time. So how about listen to one a day? That would be a good little bit of momentum, wouldn't it? We're also on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. You can go to our YouTube channel and find some great videos and tools on there. We're also on LinkedIn where you can reach out to us personally because we are
everywhere.
We are indeed. So join us in the next episode. We look forward to it and we shall see you then. Keep building those little bits of momentum every single day.
Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for the Z2A of Life Skills with Jules and Mark of the Future Toolbox. Don't forget to head over to their website, which is futuretoolbox.co.uk, where you can find lots of free resources, plus a host of books in the store, as well as subscribing to the membership site. Follow Future Toolbox Instagram, TikTok and Facebook at Future Toolbox, and subscribe to their YouTube channel too.